The fact of the case of Kyu Tiang Kung against Antara Bumi Sendirian Berhad and No. In this case, Kyu Tiang Kung is the plaintiff, while Antara Bumi Sendirian Berhad is the first defendant. The dispute involved a sale and purchase agreement between the two parties over a paying house. Q, the plaintiff had paid a full amount of Rm 2.2 million for the paying house. It was stated in the agreement that Antara Bumi Sendirian Berhad must provide possession upon the full payments and 10% per annum penalty for delays. Antara Bumi, however, failed, leading Q to seek specific performance for possessions and enforcement of liquidated damages.
In this case, there were 4 issues identified. Firstly, whether there has been a delay in seeking for specific performance. Secondly, whether the person seeking for specific performance himself is ready to do his part of the contract. Thirdly, whether the person against whom the relief of specific performance is being sought would suffer substantial hardship. And lastly, whether the contract had been obtained by unfair means.
So today we'll delve into the legal complexities of the case of Kwek Tieng Kong and Antara Bumi Sendirian Berhad and another, where significant legal principles under the law of contract were explored. Specifically, we'll discuss about the granting of specific performance. The foundation of this case lies in the Specific Relief Act 1950, which provides legal framework for granting specific performance of contract. Section 20 of the Act empowers the court to order specific performance when damages are deemed inadequate. Specific performance, which is also an equitable remedy, compels a party to fulfill contractual obligation. In this case, the court exercises discretion to grant specific performance based on the presented facts. And the court also established that the plaintiff fulfilled the obligation under the sale and purchase agreement by paying the full purchase price. This underscores the principle that a party seeking specific performance must show that they are ready and willing to perform their part. So the principle here is that specific performance may be denied if monetary compensation is deemed sufficient to remedy the breach. The court's discretion to grant specific performance is guided by various factors, including the adequacy of damages, the conduct of the parties, and the interest of justice. This emphasizes the discretionary nature of the specific performance and the court's consideration of the equities involved. The court ordered the payment of liquidated damages by the defendant at the rate of 1% per annum. Crucially, the court clarified that the existence of liquidated damages does not preclude the granting of specific performance. The court directed the payment of interest at the rate of 8% per annum on the purchase price from the vacant possession date until full payment. This aligns with the principle that interest may be awarded as a remedy for the delay in performance under a contract. In conclusion, this case provides some valuable insights, specifically addressing remedies such as specific performance.
Judgment of this case is the plaintiff had fulfilled his obligations under the purchase agreement by paying the full purchase price. Therefore, he was entitled to specific performance of the agreement. The first defendant must hand over the penthouse to the plaintiff within 10 days of receiving the court order. The first defendant must also pay liquidated damages at the rate of 10% per annum until the plaintiff receives vacant possession of the penthouse. It should be noted that liquidation of damages is not a barrier to specific performance under Section 9 of the Specific Relief Act 1950. Additionally, the first defendant must pay interest at the rate of 8% per annum on the purchase price from the date of delivery of vacant possession until full payment.
Now, I will explain about the ratio decidendi of this case. The ratio decidendi is the reason for a court decision and is a part of judgment delivered at the end of the case. Several ratios has been discussed in this case leading to the court judgment. This case main decision is that the court held that the plaintiff was granted for a specific performance. This decision was led by the fact that claimant seeking for a specific performance had prepared to perform his obligation of the contract, and in this case, the plaintiff has fulfilled his part by fully paying the purchaser. This decision was inspired by the famous case Chapel against Newspaper, where the court refused to grant the relief sought because the plaintiff failed to establish that they intended to act equitably by abiding by terms of their employment contract. Next, the plaintiff argues that the breach of contract involving the land is not sufficient to pay the damages. In this case, the court held that the first defendant has paid liquidated damages of the purchase price at the rate of 10% per annum from 10 April 2003 till the delivery vacant possession of the penthouse. This is based on Section 11 of Specific Relief Act 1915 that states specific performance can be granted in matters pertaining to breach of contract to transfer immovable property where damages do not sufficiently remedy. In this case, they include a penthouse. This decision has been referred to the case Zaimun Musa binti Syekh Ahmad against Loh Kun Mei and another. So, this explains that every contract of land that has been breached can get more than damages. Lastly, the decision above is also followed by the Section 19 of the Specific Relief Act 1915 enacts that liquidation of damages is not a bar to specific performance. Hence, the first defendant need to pay liquidated damages and the plaintiff gets specific performance. In addition, specific performance is under discretionary of the court. Only the court have power to grant specific performance or not. This is based on Section 21 Clause 1 of the Specific Relief Act 1915. To conclude, above is the ratios that have been used by the judge to make a decision for this case.
Today, I'm going to talk about the student review of the case Kyok Tiang Kung against Antara Bumi Sendirian Berhad and another. The buyer entered into a sale and purchase agreement for a penthouse. The buyer paid the full purchase price, expecting the seller to receive vacant possession of the property. But the seller failed to deliver vacant possession, leading the buyer to seek specific performance, vacant possession, and liquidated damages. The court ruled in favor of the buyer, emphasizing the buyer's commitment by fulfilling payment obligations. The court ordered the seller to deliver the penthouse within 10 days, acknowledging the buyer's entitlement, upholding the liquidated damages clause, which is 10% per annum, and awarding interest at 8% per annum, served as compensation for the delay, aligning with the agreement. The court's focus on specific performance encourages fulfillment of contractual obligations over mere compensation.
Later on, the court emphasized on specific performance. Even with the imposition of liquidated damages, aligns with the principle that the primary goal is to ensure the buyer receive what they bargained for. This approach encourages fulfillment of contractual obligation rather than mere compensation. In my opinion, the court's decision reflects a balanced and equitable solution. It safeguards the buyer's interest, emphasizing the importance of honoring contractual commitments. The combination of specific performance, timely delivery, liquidated damages, and interest ensure that the buyer receives fair compensation for the delay position of the penthouse. Thus, in deciding how the court may exercise its discretion over the judgment, several considerations are necessary in order to provide justice and fairness. The court decides by referring to the legal justification or reasoning that a court used to reach its conclusion in a certain case, which is called ratio decidendi. The ratio decidendi of a case can be defined as the material fact of the case plus the decision thereon. The ratio decidendi is the crucial and legally binding portion of a judicial opinion or judgment that creates a precedent for case individual. As for this case, the ratio decidendi that has been used is whether the person seeking specific performance is himself prepared to perform his side of the contract. This is among the elements influencing the court's ability to award particular performance. By paying the purchase price, the plaintiff in this instance has demonstrated that he has carried out and completed his obligation. As a result, the plaintiff is entitled to specific performance of the sale and purchase agreement.